let's get into Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 3, Episode 1. Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 3, Episode 2. Hey friends, let's get into Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 4. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 5. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 6. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 7. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 8. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 9. Power Book 2, Season 3, Episode 10. Alrighty, so we have the Lovell Adams Gray on Danny TV. We're doing an interview. I'm super excited. You guys know I've been keeping up with Power. You guys have seen my TikTok, so I'm very happy to bring this to my TikTok family. Congratulations on your engagement to your fiance. I saw the engagement pictures and they were beautiful.
Got engaged in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So it was a funny little, like, we didn't know it was coming, right? So we were just like, let's get married this year, and then like, oh, never mind, because we didn't want to get married with like, you know, masks on the dance floor and a limited capacity and all that nonsense. So we just waited until everything was kind of lifted to actually get married. So now we're finally getting married this summer.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just met you today, but I'm coming to you guys' wedding. I need an invite.
All right, bet.
So I know that your fiance has a love for film as well. Can you share how that journey has been with both of you guys being in the film industry?
I think, you know, we lean on each other for, like, you know, our tapes together or any acting advice or anything, like, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs in the industry. And so, like, it's good to have a partner there who understands what you're going through, understands, you know, how the, you know, ebbs and tides of things, and, you know, and to understand character stuff, right? Like, you know, sometimes from the outside perspective, you're like, you know, for myself going to her, has been like, I love playing Drew on the show, and we've been doing it now for a while, like 3 years. And so I want to make sure that I can still keep my blade sharp and be able to expand into other characters and not just get comfortable in one. And, you know, if I say that to somebody who's not in my craft or my field, they'll be like, I understand, that makes sense. But speaking that to, you know, with Kiana, it's been like, no, I definitely get that. And so I'll help push you. And whenever we have an audition or whenever we, you know, we can just read plays together and make sure that, like, you're keeping your mind expanded. Like, that is so invaluable, you know, someone who really understands, like, what we're doing and trying to build upon, and you know, it is a really great listening partner, as well as iron, you know, sharpening iron.
I think it's very important to have someone that is going through the same things that you're going through, that really understands you. And I love when you mentioned not getting stuck into a role. I watched your interview with The Breakfast Club with Woody, and I thought it was very important when you guys were speaking. You're like, we love these roles, but no, we don't want to get stuck in them. We want to try new things as well.
Absolutely. You know,
I think
we're
that's very
artists.
important.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. So I know you're from Canada.
Mhm.
Tell us what it was like growing up in Canada and kind of walk us through your childhood.
Growing up in Canada, it was a mixed bag of things. Like, so I'm from Toronto, and for me growing up, there wasn't a lot of um instruction on how to become an actor. And so, like, growing up, I was a very loud kid, very, like, energetic, bouncing off the walls, going crazy all the time. And my family was like, he should definitely do something with that. Like, and so I used to want to fight all the time. Like, that's what I wanted to do as my, like, life path. I wanted to just fight. I didn't know the UFC existed. I just wanted to fight. I wanted to be a fighter. I loved Power Rangers and stuff. And so I was just like doing, like, I'd always fight all the time at school and get in trouble and get suspended. But to me, I didn't see it as, like, fighting because of violence sake. I thought it was like, this is the singular thing to do on, like, recess. You know, we could play basketball or whatever, play whatever games, run, race each other, and play fight. You know, like just let's pretend we're like you're the villain, I'm the hero, and let's like just fight.
That's
And
funny.
someone would inevitably get hurt a little too much, and then start crying, and then Lovell, I saw you fighting on the playground. You have detention. Like that was my consistent life until I think the fourth or fifth grade. No, sixth. I got suspended in the seventh grade, I think, too, or sixth grade. And then I was like, I moved schools, and I moved schools a couple of times. And then when I moved to Rexdale, and people weren't fighting no more. People were trying to like kill people at that point. I remember this one kid, I never forget this story, man. This one kid, I told my best friend the story, and he was like, that's insane. But he had a similar experience. This one kid was like, talking crap. And so I was like, let me like we'll fight right now. What's up? And he's like, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm like, well, you gonna stab me? And he's like, no. Like the way he said, he was like, no, I'm gonna shoot you. And I was like, oh, all right, let me put that down. Like, so I was like, I had to find a different career path.
This is
That was the day I
hilarious.
stopped fighting. That was the day I stopped fighting. I'm like, it's never that serious. I'm never trying to I'm not trying to lose my life in this thing. So um I think from that, it kind of taught me like if I was gonna like concentrate my energies in any way, I have to figure out a way to like do it in a safe environment. And I had a lot of teachers help me out with that. Like let's, like, do you like acting? Do you like maybe you have art in you and stuff. And I had a really dope teacher who was really energetic and high energy. She taught us Shakespeare. And so from then it was like, okay, I think this is where I will channel my energies into. I used to do track all the time. And I think that was also a good outlet for me. But above all else, I was like, I think I felt more at home acting.
That is hilarious. And it's funny because flash forward, you literally have action roles with power. So like you're channeling your inner self.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In a safe environment, in a place that I'm not gonna get myself hurt.
Exactly. Okay,
you
I'm
know,
happy that you chose the right path because we did not need you in jail or hurt.
no,
We
no,
needed
thank
you on power.
you.
You're from Toronto, and every time I hear the word Toronto, I do think of Drake. Did you watch Degrassi growing up?
I didn't. I didn't. I
No?
didn't.
Okay.
I was watching all of the shows. The majority of the shows and content I watched were American things because
Really?
we
Okay.
basically get the same media. Like it's all the same media, in fact. So, growing up, I was watching Fresh Prince and Martin and Wayne's Bros and Jamie Foxx and all that kind of stuff. It's like so much. Like I didn't hear about Degrassi until I was auditioning for it.
Oh, so you auditioned for Degrassi.
Oh yeah, no, it was like one time, and I didn't. I don't think I even like. It wasn't nothing. Like it was just a regular like role on the show, and I did not get it. It was like probably like really early in my career, and it what like didn't. I was still so new and still so green. I didn't know, you know. And a lot of the times, I think a lot of the thing that shot me in the foot early in my career was that I was really nervous. So even when I knew I had some kind of strengths as an actor, I had a really good voice and wasn't afraid to like just kind of go there. Um, and because I was always like I thought acting was like you have to mimic a person like really well. So I was like, okay, well if I can do the same thing that Will Smith did in I Am Legend, then I'll be pretty good. So I was watching all his movies and trying to just copy the stuff he did. But I thought that was acting. And then after a while, I was like, okay, well, I got a lot of instruction being like, that's not how you act. Like you got to find it from yourself and like what's what are your traits and what are your things and I remember one of my earliest auditions was for um I don't remember the project now, but I was so nervous and so shaky
Mm-hmm.
that I couldn't possibly act. Like I couldn't possibly do anything good. I was just trying to get through my nerves, you know. This has been a long time ago, thank God.
Okay, that is funny, but like from thinking back then when you were experiencing that until now, aren't you happy like that those moments happen because it makes your blessing like well worth it now?
Absolutely. And I always still look for that feeling of being nervous when I audition or when I read for something or when I am going to do something, because I know now that me being nervous was because I really wanted this thing, and I really wanted to do a good job and I really wanted to make it. So now if I feel like if I don't feel that way about something, then it's like maybe I don't want it as bad, or maybe I'm getting comfortable or getting used to something. So I don't ever want to get too comfortable, too complacent in my work. And comfortable is nice. It's nice to be comfortable, right? Like we just want to be able to have your house and own it and not be wanting for anything. But craft wise, I mean, I don't want to be just resting on my laurels. I always want to improve. I always want to get better. I always want to be a student. And I think that feeling, I look for that feeling of, ooh, this gets my motor going. I feel my nerves. I feel the excitement. I feel. A long time ago, a teacher told me that, like, don't confuse um, fear or nervousness for excitement. So almost like that anticipation energy of being able to do the thing would in my body manifest as the same as being nervous or being scared. And so I didn't know. I was like, I'm just scared. Like, I'm just scared to do. And then he's like, no, don't confuse that for being like anxious or excited to do something, because it's the same. It's that same kind of electrifying feeling. Your body is like vibrating at that level. And I used to think that if I'm shaking, I'm scared. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then you go and you start doing it. You start getting that energy out, and it's like, oh, I'm not scared. I'm just really excited to go. Um, so that was those are invaluable lessons that I've learned and keep with me to this day.
I think that's a great lesson to learn. What do you do now when you're auditioning for things to help keep your nerves down where you're not so nervous?
I have to relax myself. I have to like it's called relaxation. Where it's you sit down in a chair and you kind of isolate and relax each individual muscle, your face, your chest, your back, your shoulders. We'll hold a lot of tension in our shoulders, hold a lot of tension in our hands and in our face, in our forehead. And so I just try to like neutralize, not keep myself neutral in a space where I can actually move from. Um, uh, a lot of nervous energy is in muscle tension, right? So if I have to remind myself to breathe, to do a vocal physical warm up, and especially if it's a role that I think like uh, that I feel close to in some kind of way, I want to do a good job and I want to get out of my own way at that point. Because I used to think that I was like I did a good performance if I was able to get over my nerves. you know and he was like, well, that's just like scratching the surface now. But I think those things really help. Those are really great tools for me, is like just body relaxation. I'll always pray before and after, just to make sure that like I'm locking in with God and connecting with him, and not just kind of doing this on my own. That was another thing for me, is making sure that like I'm always aiming or trying to do something that's bigger than myself, because we can get lost in our roles, right? We can get, just this is all about me and this is all about the role, it's all about the work and da 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 da. But remembering like, okay, well, I'm a storyteller, and what is that gift that a storyteller has? It's a universal story, right? It's a universal gift. It's something that is before us and after us. We tell stories as human beings. Where is that from? That's from God. So always reminding myself that, he is the ultimate creator, and I'm just a little uh uh tool, or like a vessel for his ultimate story.
I love that because a lot of times, like you said, people always think it's about me, me, me. And it's like, no, it's about God and God's work. We're on this earth to spread his word and do what he wants us to do. So
Yeah.
great to see that you are a
Amen.
God-fearing man. Love
Oh
that.
yeah, amen. Like yeah, man. Yeah, 100%.
Now, I did dig a little dirt up on you. I know that you said that you would like to play Kanye in a documentary.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, what is your all-time favorite Kanye West song or album and why?
That's Flashing Lights. Flashing Lights is my favorite song of all time. Like, I'll be old and gray and be like, remember that song, Flashing Lights? And that song still gets me going. That's like my favorite song of all time. So
Lights, that's a good one.
Flashing Lights, and then like I by proxy, because it's on that album, Graduation. That was the it holds a special place in my heart because that came out when I was in the ninth, 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And that was around the time where I was a big 50 Cent fan, and he was my favorite rapper. And he was doing that competition where 50 Cent came out with Curtis, and Ye came out with Graduation, and they decided to compete to see who would have the biggest opening weekend and who would sell the most records. And so they were on BET, they were going head to head, they were on 106 in Park. It was this whole thing. And before that time, I was like, Kanye is doing like this backpack rapper kind of thing. I'm trying to be gangster, man. I'm trying to be in the streets. And Curtis came out. I bought it day one, and I was like, "This is a dope album. It's good. AL Technology's on that. Justin Timberlake, all that stuff." I was going in, and then my boy, who is a Gemini, and so he like felt akin to he felt a kindred spirit to Kanye West. He was like, "You got to get Graduation and tell me what you think." And I remember I went to this record store that was close to my house, and I didn't know that they jacked up the prices on these records so much, because I didn't know that a CD was supposed to cost like $9.99, maybe like $10. This guy charged me $20 for this.
Oh my goodness,
And
they got
I'm
you
in high
good.
school. Like, I don't have a job. Like, I just had this like birthday money, whatever. And I used that like half of my birthday money to buy this album. And I took it home. I didn't know any better. I just took it home and I played it. And I was like, this album is incredible. Just the way it starts, good morning, just like off rip. He's just already into it. And is very different from his other stuff. So that will always have a special place in my heart.
That is hilarious. You were a dedicated fan. $20 on
To this day.
Kanye West record.
To this day, I think that was the first album I've ever paid for myself. I think my mom got me Curtis because she got me all of 50 Cent stuff. She got me Get Rich or Die Trying, and she got me The Massacre, and she got me Curtis. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go out and get my own with the little money I have. And I decided to get Kanye West album.
I love, love, love Can't Tell Me Nothing. That is my
Yep.
favorite song, like
Yep.
motto for life.
Yep. Is that your favorite Kanye song?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a
Okay,
good
so
one
you
too.
mentioned 50. What is your favorite 50 song?
Out of Control remix.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
So that is that came out on The Massacre, his second album. And I have so many memories connected to both of their music, him and Kanye West. But I remember me and my best friend, we were like anticipating this album drop. So it was like they were doing this thing on BET where it was like the world premiere for his album, and like doing behind the scenes stuff and because it was coming out like that week. And we were like glued to the TV watching it, and just like in super anticipation of his album. And it dropped, and I remember they were playing Out of Control, the original version on the album, and I loved how it sounded. I loved the arrangement. I loved how it had the kind of like dance feel. And then not too long after that, he dropped the remix with Mobb Deep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a like chill, like gangster vibe. Like it's just like it feels like a party song, but it feels like you almost want to like riding your whip on a PCH with it. It has like that kind of feel to it. It has like that kind of like low ride bounce. And I was like, I didn't know that you can improve upon the song so much, but that's probably my favorite 50 Cent song. It's kind of obscure. I like the more like non-single based music from my favorite artists. I don't like I feel like the singles oftentimes don't slap as hard as the rest of the album does.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I was going with it. I was like, I like this song because it was a single, but it wasn't the main one from the album.
I feel that. Okay, after this, I'm definitely going to listen to that song. You've been dropping gems today. Now, I must ask, so you listened to 50 before you met him. How was it when you actually met him, since like you were already into his music and stuff? Did you have like a fan moment, or how was it?
No, because my dad's Jamaican. And so I had to channel him and be like, oh, I'm not impressed by anything. Jamaicans Jamaicans will be the most impressed by something and act like they don't see it, right?
Got you.
So I was like, okay, I have to like just turn that on a little bit and be like, great to meet you. I'm here. We're peers. Even though you're technically my boss, we're peers in that sense. And so and I went home and I was like, I met 50 Cent. Like, check that off the like I was like I was going in. Then I got his number. I was like, this is crazy. Like, but I had definitely had to contain that because we're all just people at the end of the day, you know what I mean? But it did service that child in me to meet him and to connect with him and to have all these memories that I associate with him and his music, to see him in person and see that he's such a kind, generous spirit and he's just willing to offer mentorship and guidance to show us as young Black artists how to make it and how to thrive. That's a really big gift and not a lot of people do that.
No, I feel like that's very important because when I first started out, I kind of would be so nervous and like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I'm interviewing so and so. And like now it's like, okay, these are, people just like you, like calm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
You can't.
I had a bit recently. I met Jermaine Fowler, who was in the Blackening, the film
Mhm.
Blackening, and he's such a one. I think he's such a wonderful actor. I have such love and respect for him as an artist and as a craftsman and as a comedian. So I definitely felt connected to like spiritually connected to his his artistry. And I've been following his career since the beginning because it kind of he and I did like similar things on across the pond. So he did Superior Donuts, the TV show, auditioned for the play. So I felt kind of connected to him with that. And so I saw him in person. I was like, I gotta give you your props, man. Like you're amazing, wonderful dude, da da da. And then you asked Latoya, I was like, I met Jermaine Fowler. And then we would like, it would be like an hour or two later, and I'm like, Latoya, did you know that I met Jermaine Fowler today? And she'd be like, oh my God, Lovell, I can't get it. I'm like, all right, just so you know, I was just wondering, I met Jermaine Fowler. So thank you. Thanks for listening. I think it's important to celebrate your people, man. I think it's important to, be fans of other artists and show that love. And I never want to come off as stush or stuck up and that I don't give people their props because you have to give people their flowers and show them that love and respect. It goes a long way, I feel sometimes, especially for me. Like if someone that I respect as an artist came up to me and said some nice stuff to me, like that's like it's a really kind gesture in a move where there's a lot of competition in the industry and there's a lot of nonsense and a lot of stuff that doesn't belong. We're all artists, we're all storytellers, we're all craftspeople. So like it doesn't make sense to me to be looking at somebody and competing with them. It's like, no, like you did it. Great work. Great work.
Exactly. Or you did it. Do you have any tips? Let me learn from you. And just
Yeah.
giving people
Yeah.
their flowers, you never know if that could literally make someone's day. Like showing
Absolutely.
appreciation.
Absolutely. And speaking life in other people.
Exactly. Okay, I'm gonna dive into a few industry questions.
Sure.
Can you tell us about one of your most like cringe-worthy auditions that you've had?
Cringe-worthy auditions. I had this audition for this show, and I don't do a very good English accent, but it was good enough to get me to a screen test.
I really
And
cannot tell, Lovell. I'm sorry. Like you are outdoing us as Drew.
I had so the character I was auditioning for was from the UK, right? And I was like, I'm gonna just go for it because I think I'm pretty decent with accents, but you'll meet someone from the UK and be like, that's trash. Like, what are you doing? Right. So I always feel like nervous, but so I auditioned with this UK accent and I made it all the way to the screen test. And I was like, wow, like this worked. And I still got to do it now live in person in front of a bunch of people. And I'm doing the scene and one of like the head studio execs for it was like a pilot goes, don't do the accent. But she had to leave in the middle of my audition before she said that. So I'm auditioning right in front of this person, right? Her and a bunch of other people. She gets up in the middle of the scene, leaves the room, while I'm still reading, like doing this audition with the casting director, comes back in the room. The scene is done, and then goes, "Try it again. Don't do the accent." And I was like, "Oh, all right." So I did the scene without doing the English accent. I didn't get the role, and I went back home, and I was like, "She hated my shit so much, she had to leave. She had to leave this because she had to like leave the room, discuss it with somebody else, and be like, he's doing this terrible UK accent. Why is he doing that? He's not the one. Like, please don't do that accent." And then came back in and was like, "Don't do that." I felt so like I felt terrible. I was like, I'm never doing UK accent again unless I have like some kind of coach. If I spend some time there, I do some research. I gotta go in. I need time. I need like a year before I can, you know what I mean, master that. Because like I was like that made me feel like garbage. I felt so trash. That was probably the cringiest moment I've had.
Wow. Like you thought that the person left because of you.
It could have been for many reasons. She was coughing, it could have been all of that. But she left, came back, and was like, "Yeah, don't do the accent." I was like, "Ooh, I know what that is."
That's hilarious. What are some challenges that you faced as a Black actor that has helped shape your career?
Challenges. When I was in school, sorry, not in school, in this class, one of the coaches told me that you got to work 10 times as hard to get half as much. And I know it's always a line, but when she said it to me, it was kind of like it kind of just helped drill into me that I have to work. And now where I am in my career, that hasn't left. Like that feeling of like, okay, sure, yeah, I have to work 10 times as hard, but like now it's less of a burden and more of like that's just what it is. I think that's really helped me to not get down on myself when I'm working a lot and feeling like I'm dragging my feet working a lot, or feeling like I'm working on an uphill battle, or feeling like I got to do a lot on my own, or you know what I mean.
Mhm.
It kind of keeps me going to be like, this just comes to the territory, and understanding like that hard work isn't it's not a like treat, or it's not it's not a luxury, I guess the word is I'm looking for. It's not a thing that you do that it goes above and beyond. It's just the thing to do. It is the thing. And so having drilled that in my mind for like the last 8 years has helped me not get complacent, but also has not helped me not get um, upset or uh, frustrated with a lot of like putting in work. It's allowed me to be like, yeah, it's hard. Like that's what it's been. It's what it's going to be. It's not a new thing. It's not a surprising thing. That's really helped a lot.
And then I feel like in order to get where you want to be, it's kind of like, we have no choice. Like we have to work
Yeah.
to keep, life going and to do the things that we want and enjoy.
And then I'll be working hard and seeing other artists working hard, and I'm like, oh, I thought I was working really hard. And I see that, I'm like, oh, never mind. Like,
I was like,
I
I
have
need to
nothing.
work a little harder.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm like, I got to be working a little harder. Damn.
Whole time you're on your way in your journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
the moment that I have been waiting for to dive into some power questions.
yeah. I love that.
Did you watch the original Power?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Hmm.
Are you Team Ghost or Team Tommy?
Team Ghost.
Team Ghost.
Yeah, Omari Hardwick got me into the show. Like he was the reason why I loved his acting. I felt like it validated me as an actor. His raw power, his voice work, his the way he was in his body, it kind of really helped me feel like, wow, there's a space for the kind of like animalistic work that I like to do as an actor. That I don't have to just be pretty all the time. So I did feel that, especially coming out of Toronto, there's a lot of roles that are just like, you got to just be handsome. Like that's it. Like that's all you can. So then you're doing things from that lens, and you're speaking from that place, and everything you do feels like it has to be cute. You can't make an ugly face. You can't make a cry face. You can't make this. You can't do that. And when I saw his work and just how raw and and powerful it was, I was like, there's and he's such a handsome man. I was like, see, he's not playing into being a handsome man. He just is a handsome man. He just is like he just is who he is, and he's filling in all the spaces and colors as an artist. And I thought, from an artist perspective, I love that, and I felt very validated.
No, for sure. I feel like with his role, he uncovered a lot of layers, and like we saw him feel every single emotion for sure. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was just so amazing and crazy.
Yeah.
Like, wow, like one person can do all of this
Yep. 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 Absolutely.
for sure. Can you walk us through your audition for Power Book?
Well, I auditioned with Kiana. She was my reader, and she gave me this wonderful note because the audition was like it never happened in the show, but Drew was drawing something, and um and Diana comes into the room and is like, "I want to play basketball. Let's play together." And I'm like, "Not right now. You're bothering me." And then it was a whole conversation like that. Um, and we did the take and it was good. And then Kiana's like, "Okay, now do it again and draw the most beautiful thing you've ever seen." And I felt like that informed the scene so much because it was now like you're just like this thing will move, this thing will go away, and I will never be able to capture it again. So this whole like you trying to pester me to play basketball right now is very secondary to what I'm really here to do. And I felt like that helped take it over the edge. And so when I got to LA and did the callback, it was such a great gift because everyone was in the room. Courtney was there, Anthony Hemingway was there, and Shanna Stein was there. Everybody was there that was like going to be working on the show, and they gave me such great notes, redirects, and stuff. And I got to play. And I think as an actor, your favorite thing to do is get to play, right? I don't want to speak for everybody, but like you want to feel like you're in the room and your time is valuable. You want to feel like people and want to engage with you. You want to feel heard and seen. And you know, you have a maybe 5 minute slot to audition for a part. And oftentimes it's like, okay, thank you for coming next. Okay, thank you for coming next. Okay, thank you for coming. And you don't hear nothing, no feedback, no nothing. There's no engagement. You just drove an hour into the city, you know, all this traffic, all these fumes, you're tired. And so when you go to this place and they're engaging with you and like, great, that was great. Let's do it again. And like, try it this way and try it this way. You're like, yo, if I don't book the role, I had a great day today because I felt used. I felt someone was willing to play with me and access what I have, you know? So I felt really like a lot of love and a lot of excitement. So I left that day. I think Woody was there too. I think he and I passed each other on the way in and out of the audition room, which was funny. But yeah, that was a day. It was a good day.
I think that's very important also because I know oftentimes just like when people are, you know, applying for jobs and stuff, it's like, okay, you don't get the job, but you don't hear any feedback. It's like, well, can you tell me something?
Yeah, you know, like it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. There's a lot of that still goes on in the industry. And I get it. We're all human. We're all like, you know, dealing with our own stuff. So you can't take it personally. But that kind of keeps me motivated to be like, I can't wait to be the person that's on like the top so I can make those decisions and do those things and validate other people.
What attracted you to the role of Drew?
I loved that he was an artist. And that was my way in. Was he's an artist and I get to look through a new life through an artistic lens. And for me, like I'm not a visual artist by any means. I can't draw, save my life. I can maybe paint something that's abstract, but I can't, you know what I mean? So I was like, I get to learn how to draw now. I get to learn how to, I get to learn a different way in through a person's empathetic capacity. You know, I get to like see the world through this artist's eyes. And that was probably my favorite, my way into him.
We get to see Drew draw sometimes, which is cool. That kind of separates him from his family and everything that they have going on, plus his
Mhm.
relationships, but letting him be his own person by being an artist.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
For sure. How did you step into the role of playing an openly gay character?
Um, with empathy, with empathy, with God. I think, praying again, like always, like making sure that my biggest thing was that I wanted to be able to tell a story truthfully. I want to be able to tell Drew's story truthfully. I didn't want to go in half stepping. I want to go in, you know, being all like weird and not being able to just. I wanted to make sure that the people in my life who are queer felt validated. And with the responsibility of this role and me being like, I know it's like controversial that I'm like a straight actor playing a gay role, but I felt that I had a unique experience being able to be from a Caribbean household. And, there's a lot of prejudice there. There's a lot of um, trauma that comes with that. So being able to have a space where I can play an openly gay character and have my friends and family and people who love me watch the work that I'm doing and tell a story about a queer man who is in the streets and also is seeking love. Now they're looking at Lovell being like, he's playing this role, and I never saw it like that. I never saw the story like that. I never thought about it like that. Right? It's easy to grow up and have your own beliefs and your own views, and then you kind of just stay that way. You can stay locked in, and no one challenges you to think differently or to open your mind and open your heart. And I had the ability to do that with the friends and family that I grew up with, having to watch my shit because they support me, right? And now you see this story, and you see me playing a gay character, and you go, "Wow, I never thought about it like that. This has got me crying. This has moved me in a different way that maybe I wouldn't have allowed myself to be moved had it not been you telling the story." Right? So I went into it being like, it's a responsibility. It's not something to take lightly. It's not something to be, trivial about, or it's not something to be like cavalier about. It's a big deal, especially being in the power universe where there's not a lot of queer characters represented in the story. So that I felt that I wanted to make sure I did it right and did it justice.
You do a great job of bringing the challenge and also doing it right because it feels so real. And like you said, like you have to do it right because you're representing people, people that you know are watching who are, experiencing things like that. And, you just have to do it right. Like you do such a good job. Because when I
Thank
was first watching, I was like, is he like, is he gay for real? And then when I looked
you.
online, I'm like, oh, he's not. I'm like, he does such like a good job, bringing representation to this for sure.
And I like that Stars is opening the way for more of that. I think like even if you watch P Valley, J. Alphonse plays a queer character too, and he does such an amazing job. He's an amazing artist. He's an
Mm-hmm.
amazing artist. Amazing artist. He's like he can sing. He can do a lot of things I
Everything.
can't. He can do a lot of things. He can play drums. He can do a lot of things. I think he plays guitar too. Like he's an amazing artist, and I'm happy that I get to share the star space with him like that because you know it helps. I don't feel alone in that way. Um I don't feel like there is I feel like there's a kindred spirit out there who understands, you know, um, that it is about the work and about the craft.
It's for sure about the work in the craft. And I bet, have you received like any like emails or like messages for people like emailing you like thank you for like, playing this role and representing and things like that? Like
Yeah,
that makes you feel amazing.
it does. It does. It does. I've received a lot of kind and sweet messages. A lot of like people saying they feel validated and feel seen in different ways. And I remember talking to Brad, who plays Everett, on the show, and we were talking about it. And he was like, and I think his somebody in his family was like, just don't have us out here looking stupid. Make sure you look good. Make sure you look right. You know what I mean? Make sure, like, because it was also like, this is power, so we have to make sure that we like are looking good, like taking care of our bodies, making sure we're sexy. If we're gonna be doing this story, you can't just be out here like looking crazy. So that was a good motivation for me too. I'm like, I gotta be in the gym. I'm in the gym, like I'm in the gym, like in the gym. But then I was like, no, on this show you gotta be in the gym. Like, you know, and oh my gosh, like, because I'm not from New York, the food out here is different. Like, it's different. There's so much temptation. I have such a crazy sweet tooth, and there are so many things. There's so many things that are just so delicious.
Well, you can't eat it. You have to keep the body right for power.
I gotta keep the body right. Man, I gotta keep the body right. My gosh.
I'm Team Drew, by the way. I know you mentioned Everett. Team Drew, Everett got you messed up.
I appreciate it.
What is a typical set day like for Power Book 2?
The crew is amazing. They're so on it. They're so locked in, dedicated, and the hours are crazy sometimes. And so the way they just lock in, I gotta give a big shout out to the crew, because they hold it down. They really, 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 the PAs, the ADs, the grips, everybody, the best boy, the focus puller, everybody, it shows up. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they, like, seriously, like, we had a long day the other day, and had to be back on set for another long day, all into the wee hours of the morning.
Yikes.
And like, as an actor, you get, like, yeah, you're there a long time, sure, but you have time to go sit down. You have time to go, like, there's lunch and all kinds. You have like break time. You have time in your trailer. You have time in the makeup and hair space. You have a little bit of time. But if I'm focus pulling every take, every scene. Now we got to move and go to the next thing. Like, I'm there doing the sound. I'm there doing like, they're there all the time, day in, day out. And the fact that they come in with such great attitudes and are still saying good morning, still, having cracking jokes and having a good time, it makes for such a easy space on set. It makes for such an easy space. I've been on sets where it was a pilot. We were shooting for a week or maybe 2 weeks. It was a pilot, and one of the sound dudes got into it with the AD. Like, come on, you just got here. You just got here. Like, we haven't even done this for a long time. This has been a week, and it's already tension. But there's so much love and admiration for everyone on this show. Like, a typical day on set is a vibe. It's a vibe. It's fun. We get to, and especially because we've been playing these characters for so long, the actors feel more in a safe space, so they can, like, maybe, like, we could try things now. We can challenge, play with the actors, and lean on relationship in a way we maybe wouldn't feel safe to in the first season. So it's just gotten more like tight and more, much more of a vibe.
First off, I love that you said you mentioned the crew. Like, you're very humble, and it's good to mention the people that are helping you guys make this stuff come alive, because oftentimes people are like, oh, it's me, the actor, but you're like thankful for the crew. Just to piggyback on you saying, like, now everyone is like more comfortable because you guys have been working with each other so long. And one of your interviews, I'm not sure if it was you or maybe it was Mary J or Woody, someone, they were speaking about the scene at the dinner table with Diane. And how it was like, no, this has to be this way.
Yeah. That was Mary. Mary really helped shape and mold that scene into what we see today. Like, she was like, I feel like the character would do this. I feel like we would have a little bit more of a heightened energy right now. Like, it's not going to be something that we're just going to argue about. I'm going to snatch you across this table. You're going to be talking to me that kind of way. And it's like the way she elevated the scene. She elevates everything she walks into. Like, every time we have a moment on the screen. Like she'd just walk in and be like, okay, how can we make this real? Because, and I think I've learned so much as an actor too, because like it's our job to elevate what's on the page, right? I think oftentimes we go in and it's like, as an actor, you just want to like do the job. You want to tell this story. You want to do this job. You want to like say these words right. You want to, get what the writer's vision was on the ground. But I think the writer and the actor have to work in tandem to elevate the character off the page. And that she does a great job of doing that. I mean, well, all of us do, I think. But I just want to give some love to Mary because she really like elevates, Monet and helps us elevate our characters and feel safe enough in a space to do so.
No, Auntie Mary does the job. I'm
Yeah.
in Savannah and she's from like Richmond Hill in
All
Georgia.
right.
So I think that's like so cool.
All right. Wow.
No, that
Wow.
scene was amazing because it's like, like you said what, Diana?
you know. Oh man. I was gonna ask you where you're from. You're from Georgia?
So I'm from St. Louis, but I
Oh,
moved
okay.
here to work in Georgia.
All right. Nice. I've only been to Georgia once. I went spent a little bit of time in Atlanta, then I went to see my aunt. My aunt lives out there. I forgot what the place is, but it's not in Atlanta. I have to drive a little bit out.
Yeah, I'm in Savannah. It's 3 hours away from Atlanta.
I don't know who's driving 3 hours to do what. That's crazy. That is like we just went to Philly yesterday, and that was like an hour and a half train ride, and that felt like a while. So I can only imagine.
Yeah, like when I go back and forth, I'm like, oh, but I'm like, whatever, it's the grind.
Yeah,
I have to
yeah,
do
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
just shut up.
For sure. You got to work. But it'll pay off in the end.
Exactly.
My dad always says, "Do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do."
Exactly.
You know?
Like, that's how I feel now.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll look at this later and be like, I did all of this, and now look where I'm at now.
yeah. Now I can chill.
How do you feel like Drew has grown from season 1 to season 3?
I think Drew has gotten more of his man stepped into more of his manhood now. He's understanding that he has to be more about focus on his business and not so much on like he can't I think he feels like now he's realized that he can't have much of a personal life. That it has to be 100% in the business and it's which is really a big heartbreak for him. Especially losing so much and seeing how much that comes with the territory. I think it's made him more of a hardened person, a more uh, lethal, ruthless person, um, and a little bit darker.
Darker for sure. I think it honestly sucks because it's like Drew can't have anything. Like, can't have ever now Monet into Gordo from him. Like,
Yeah,
dang,
yeah,
he can't have
yeah,
his father. Like, let him
yeah,
live a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. You know what I mean? Damn,
All he has to do
man.
is focus on the business, business, business.
Yeah, yeah. Which is tough, but I think ultimately it is family first, and Drew understands that.
He does for sure.
Mhm.
If you could cross over to any of the power shows, which one would you cross over to and why?
Raising Canaan because it's based in the '90s, and that sounds like so much fun.
I
But it wouldn't
love
make
that
sense.
show.
Wouldn't make sense, but but it'd be fun to do. Uh, but also, I would love to go over to Force because it's based in Chicago, and I've never been to Chicago.
You
So
have to go to Chicago. Oh
I've
my
always
goodness.
wanted to go to Chicago. Like my favorite artists are from Chicago. So like I know that like it has something for me. I just don't know what.
Oh my gosh, you have to put that on your list for like
Mhm.
travel this summer. You have to go to Chicago. So I'm from St. Louis. Chicago is 4 hours away, but like a summer day in Chicago, you can like see the water. It is so beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
It's like you have to go. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just going out to Philly yesterday was a little treat, like seeing more of the country and different and like smaller ways, which is a little day trip out there. So I think, Chicago definitely in the future. I got to go out to Savannah because I know that's where Big Boy's from. And so I'm like, I want to go see what that looks like. And and I definitely want to travel more in the southern states because I love southern food.
Yes.
It's so akin to West Indian food that it's just like it's kind of like I'm used to eating these things all my life, and now seeing it made by I heard we always say like if she don't have her arm hanging out like this, it's not gonna be good. You know what I mean? Like so I'm like I need some of that. I need some of that.
That's funny. Okay. If anyone's like watching and you're from Chicago, don't crucify me because they will crucify. But to me, Chicago is like a baby, like New York, kind of
Okay.
in a way.
I've heard it's like it's almost like a sister city to Toronto.
I've never been to Toronto, so I can't say, but
You gotta go. You gotta go to Toronto. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It smells nice sometimes, and the food is incredible. Food is incredible. Food is incredible
I
because it
love
has a lot
food
of
too.
it. The population is immigrant population, so it's kind of like New York in that way, where like you have your Portuguese community, you have your Italian community, you have there's like a Greek town, there's Little China, there's Little Jamaica. There's so much that there's Guyanese restaurants. There's everything, everything, everything. Food slaps. I miss it so much. I miss it
I'll
so
have to
much.
go there because I'm a major foodie. I
Hmm.
will say with Savannah, it is like so much history here. So I think you'll enjoy it too because it's like cute, it's like charming. The ports are like right off the river, and they have
Wow.
a lot of food here. A
Wow.
lot of
Wow.
bars too.
For sure.
I love that you said Raising Canaan, because that's like one of my favorite shows, and I like the whole 90s
Yep.
aesthetic and vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, for the longest time, even Drew's hairstyle is like so influenced by the '90s, and so I would like it would just kind of fit. You know what I mean? Fit. And I maybe even like do the little step thing, how they did in Juice, where you have the fade and you have the little step down.
No, for sure. The whole look
Yeah.
would work.
It look crazy on me. It look crazy.
If you were able to have your own spinoff and you had to choose one person to star in it with you from Power Book, who would you choose and why?
It would be wow. One,
One.
I I, I really want to do like a not a buddy cop thing, but like a Bad Boys type of flavor thing with Woody.
Oh, that
So
would be
if
fire.
he and if Kane and Drew were to like do a little spin-off joint where they had to like go to like take over the Bronx or something like that, or like take over like Long Island, or even like go out to like a different city and just do that, where they like start the drug empire together. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be really cool, and I get to like work with Woody again, even more outside of like this our space. But yeah, I think that'll be it. If not that, then I just do a buddy cop joint with him outside of that's outside of the Power universe. Um, do I get like a runner up?
Okay, I'll let you do a runner up.
Yeah, I'll do if and it would like definitely be like a Drew and Diana joint outside, maybe based in like St. Louis.
Okay. I like the choice to St. Louis.
Yeah,
As soon as you guys get there, you have to tell everyone that St. Louis has the best Chinese food.
What?
We're
Really?
really we're literally known for that.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
I'll have to send you guys a St. Louis list of things to do.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta go see that's where the Arches is, right? That thing.
Yes,
Yeah, I gotta go see that. I don't know what that is, but I gotta go see it.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna do a little this or that.
I bet.
Diana or Kane?
Diana.
Why?
because she's my little sister, so I gotta take care of her.
I got that. Y'all are really up to no good in season 4. I can't believe y'all what y'all did in season 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. You're not even ready for it.
Gordo or Everett?
Everett. That's first love.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, Everett. That's first love. You gotta go to the first love, you know?
Although he was your first love, I kind of thought that you would lean towards Gordo since like you could just be like yourself and show him your criminal side.
Yeah, but I mean, in a dream world, it's like I'm doing what I do, and maybe because I think Everett represented for Drew what he could be.
Mm-hmm.
In a dream world, it goes like Everett goes to play basketball and he's openly gay. Drew goes out to be one of the greatest artists of all time, and they can be together. And they don't have to hide nothing. It doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be anything. You just be, boom, what it is, right? With Gordo's in the streets, and so is and Drew's in the streets, so it represents that. But it's like we started our foundation off a lie. I killed his pops, or the family killed his dad, and he's still like itching for revenge. So imagine now they're a year in a relationship, and I got something to tell you. I killed your dad. He's not. He's
Yeah.
still not gonna be happy. You know what I mean? That's a foundation off a lie. Like it just was built off of a lie. So at least with Drew, Everett knows that Drew's in some dirt, and maybe he can't uh accept it 100%. But for Drew, it's like I want to be better. I want to. I don't want this business. I don't want this life. I want to go draw and paint and be an amazing artist. And I feel like Everett represents that for Drew. So
He does
I'm
for
always
sure.
Everett.
Okay, I get that now. I forgot like for a second that y'all
Yeah,
did go and kill this man whole daddy.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody forgets that.
Tariq or Brayden?
Tariq, because he's. I think I can build more. I can make more money with Tariq.
No, for sure.
Mhm.
You can't leave your future in Brayden's hands ever. He's so unpredictable.
Yeah,
Lauren or Effie?
Effie, Effie,
Okay.
Effie's a ride or die, and she's all about her business. And you know, I feel like she's just doing what she got to do, and she won't like if you don't screw her over, she won't screw you over. You know, there's been a lot of
Mm,
misunderstandings. No, there's been a lot of misunderstandings with Effie. Like a lot of people have been like doing her sideways and then expecting her to just be like, it's fine, whatever. So now when she does it, it's oh screw you, Effie. No, no. Okay, if you want to up and up about your business and you did what you had to do and took care of Lauren, she wouldn't have had to do nothing.
yeah,
With
that's true.
you know what I mean? Like, come on, like she's ride or die. She's willing to do everything it takes to make sure that she can secure a future. But she's not trying to screw him. She's not like trying to like. She wasn't trying to do anything bad to Tariq. She cares about him. She's not trying to do anything bad with Kane now. She cares about him. So it's like I'm gonna pick that. Lauren just wants to go back to her life and be a student and stuff. So she's willing to do anything to get out, and doesn't really want anything to do with the life.
Let me
You know,
ask you this. Would you prefer Tariq and Effie or Kane and Effie? I'm team Kane and Effie.
I'm team Kane and Effie.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're on the same page.
yeah. They definitely understand each other in a way that Tariq is trying to be like in three different worlds, and Kane's just like, I'm all about this. And Effie is just like, they kind of there's no crap. There's no crap around it. You
No,
know.
it's like it is what it is. This is who I
Yeah.
am. Accept me for who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Last one, Monet or Lorenzo?
Oh. That's crazy.
You
I'm
out
team.
here choosing your
I'm team on
parents.
I'm Team Monet. I'm team,
Why?
Drew might be Team Lorenzo right at this point, but I'm Team Monet because I got a soft spot for Monet. You know, I definitely think she didn't want to be in the life. She wanted better for the kids. She consistently says that. I didn't want this for you, but it is what it is now at this point, you know? Um, and she had to like do the things that she had to do in order to not to be where we're at now. So it's a lot of like she has to harden herself in order to take care of the family. And I really respect that because she says it. You know, it's like it's funny if she didn't say it at all, then she'd be like, you don't know that she's not like maybe not a good mom or not a good person, but she says like she said in like season 2, she's like I wanted a better life for you, but we don't have a choice now. So we just got to do this. And so if the kids listen to that with an empathetic heart, then it's like, okay, I get it. But because it's more of like, no, you're in the way of what I want to do. I don't care about your motivations. You're in the way about what I want to do. Then it's like hard. Then you're going to Lorenzo, which is Lorenzo's more like, because even Lorenzo is like, I know you, Diana, want to go to school, and I hate to drop this on you, but here I need you to move product at the school. So you know what I'm saying? It's still like I wanted a better life for you, but this is what it is now. It's still that they're both doing the same thing.
Yeah, one
But at
is
least with
just the
Monet,
villain, I guess.
but when Lorenzo was in jail, Monet had to hold it down. You know, so I got a soft spot for her for that.
Me too. A lot of like the Power fans were like, "Oh my gosh, Monet is just so horrible." And I'm like, "Well, I like Monet. I feel like she's very straightforward. She says what it is. She does have her things that she do that I'm like, okay, did you really do this?" But I feel like she does what she has to do, and she lets you know, like, this is what we're doing.
And I think things could have been better if Lorenzo hadn't lied about it.
That was my whole thing because I was like, well, what do you, and I was going to ask you about that. How do you think she should have handled that situation? I was just thinking at this point, like, what is she supposed to do? Because he knew that he did that for months and he lied to her. So that was
And
like her first son
and made her kill some random GTG dude
for nothing.
for
Like
nothing, like all that stuff. You could have just
Drew
like
got jumped because of him.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
This is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's like I think it's about honesty, right? If you just been honest off rip, maybe she could have forgiven you. Even
And
Kane
that's
was
what I think.
just if you just tell her the truth before she finds out.
Then everything would have worked out perfectly.
I think so. Or maybe like, get out of town but you still be alive. But you had to do the most.
The utmost.
And then on top of that, he started to double down, right? He started to be like, well, if you're responsible for this too, because if you had that, nah, man, I messed up. My bad. I thought it was a different dude. Simple as that. Like, I know I took your son away. I can never repay you. I'm sorry, but like, I'm gonna just put myself on a self-imposed exile.
Exactly.
You don't have to kill me, but
Like this did happen.
Yeah.
What was your favorite episode from season 3 and why?
I think the funeral episode, that episode 6, I think that was. I think everybody was, working their butt off as actors, but I also think like the shootout at the funeral, that was my favorite episode. I think, like Drew being like, I gotta step up now because it's like the only thing I can do to pay back my dad. Was like that's a I feel that it's a heart thing, right? Like I have nothing now. Like took away my pops from me, and like maybe I can try to. Yeah, I love episode 6.
I think that was a good one too, especially with the shootout at the funeral. Like I wasn't expecting that. And when everyone came rolling in and how everything just played out, I was like, whoa. I was
Yeah.
really left like speechless.
What about yours?
It's so many. Trying to think. I would say it probably would have been the last two episodes when we
Mm-hmm.
were able to see like Tasha and we were able to see Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
really like when they do kind of crossover episodes when we're able to see the people
Yeah,
from the
yeah, yeah.
original Power.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
And it kind of left me like, can y'all come back on like tomorrow? I cannot wait a whole year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the season did end with Drew and Diana kind of taking matters into their own hands. My question is, were they not concerned about what Kane will do when he find out that they were in fact behind this?
We were literally doing the same thing Monet did. She got someone else to kill Lorenzo and blame it on somebody else. And Lorenzo did the same thing. He killed somebody and got wanted to pin it on somebody else. So we were just doing the same thing, and we were hoping that like if we pinned it on Tariq, who Kane already hates, then everything would be fine. We'd never have to talk about it ever again. And I think that they thought that I think they ultimately know their brother, but they think their brother is so easily blinded by his emotion that they can get away with it. So I think that they're kind of leaning on that, and it's desperate. Whenever it's desperate energy, it's never a well thought out plan.
And I feel like Kane has been getting a little smart. Like he's been watching and just keeping stuff to himself. So I'm sorry, Drew and Diana. Y'all better watch out in season 4.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. So it's gonna be crazy.
You have your own production company. If you could have a film and choose any actor or actress, who would you choose to be in one of your productions and why? If you could choose anyone.
I would love to work with um Giancarlo Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of our amazing actors of all time, and I think he's so faceted, so talented. I've been trying to get him in this movie actually that I wrote, but it feels so hard sometimes to connect with artists you really like and want to work with. Damn it, but um, yeah, I want to work with Keith David, Pastor Greenleaf. Like I think his voice, his talent, his everything, his character work is beautiful. Michael Ealy is one of the greatest actors of all time, and he really inspired me growing up as an artist. I used to watch his work all the time and be like, wow. Well, not only is he super attractive, but he's super talented. You know what I mean? Like it was like you can be both. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. I think they were like aiming for one of those actors to work with in one of our films. Um, for some reason, I just think like one, they're also talented, and two, that they would elevate the film in such a way, that it'd always be a great aesthetically pleasing film and a great project. But then you have these actors that really know how to bite into the meat of a character.
It's funny that you mentioned Michael Ealy because I think he's going to be on Power. They announced it.
They
So it's
announced
like
it.
you are literally living out your dreams and getting to work with a lot of people that you admire,
Yeah,
which is so cool.
yeah, it is. It is. It's a huge, huge, huge blessing.
One of those like Power, well, I saw the interview about it, but one of the Power fans had like found a picture of him and Monet, and I was like, y'all, stop it now.
I don't know how they find these things. I really
I
don't.
don't
I really don't.
either.
It's crazy. It's insane.
Don't judge. I was in like some power group on Facebook talking about the show, and I had to like get out of it because I'm like, y'all are crazy, and I'm tired of these crazy theories. It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Eventually, theorize enough. Eventually, one of them's right.
Right.
You know.
Well, this is the end of all of my questions. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and it was so good meeting you.
You as well. You as well. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you. Well, congratulations on the engagement, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You as well. Happy Juneteenth.